I took my sophomore year off of college and I moved to Calcutta. And I did a 9-month apprenticeship with this Sitar disciple of Pandit Ravi Shankar. His name was Deepak Chaudhary. The main thing that I learned at that end of 9 months was that I was never going to be a great Indian classical musician.
You play any musical instruments?
The piano.
Oh. What is it with Asians and the piano that we gotta play the piano? Do you play the piano too?
I do.
Oh my God.
You're making every major life decision with that partner for like maybe 70, 80 years to come.
Big project.
It's a big decision, and do you even know that person enough? Like, do you know?
You can't think of it. It's too scary to think
Yeah,
about that.
it is. But it is a major
You
decision.
gotta wake up every morning and choose that person you're with.
Yes.
I don't want to sidetrack from what you were saying because I'm learning a lot from you.
Do you want this to be a one-on-one?
What's going on, guys? My name's Tarun, Shetty. Welcome to the Convo Sutra. Man, I'm so excited. I always say that every week, but I really am. What a blessing. We got some returning panelists, and we got our special guest panelist sitting in with us today. But first, before we start, let's do a quick intro for our audio listeners. Chelsea, who are you?
Sorry, you literally looked at Jazz and said, Chelsea, who are you?
Jasmine, who are you? You start.
What's up, guys? It's Jazz, host of the Hot Chai Pod, a Bollywood film and gossip show.
It's Chelsea Sick, actor and creator.
And I'm Ronobir Lahiri. I'm a musician and actor.
Nice, man. Thanks for
have
coming
you
by
on.
the show. We've been texting for a minute, and you're super talented. And I asked you, I was like, so annoying. I was like, can you play your sitar on the show?
I just asked him that. Did you bring your sitar?
He's like, dude, I'm not.
talent show.
He's like, dude, you gotta like set up the whole like system. I can't just play for you like a monkey on the show.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a technical thing there.
And you're also a super accomplished actor as well. You went to Yale?
I did, yeah. I went to Yale. Yeah.
You studied acting there as well?
I did. I did a degree in theater,
Yeah.
my
Nice.
undergraduate degree there. Yeah.
Wow, the MFA in Yale acting?
No, I did a BA there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
But Yale? Oh my gosh, that's my dream.
But like, I was an actor in New York in late 90s.
You're an NYU guy, right?
Yeah.
I read
So
that
late
about
90s, 2000, I was acting there. So you were before me, and Asif Manvi used to live in my building, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
In New York.
Yeah. I read some article where you were talking about like all you went out for were like doctor
Sure.
stuff. Dude, I could totally relate to what you were saying.
Yeah, Asif and I, we used to meet at auditions all the time, because there was, a handful of Indian actors back then in the late 90s, mid to late 90s. There was
Can you talk about your experience, like being one of the early, I guess, pioneer actors in that time?
I mean, it's tough to say pioneer because there was also, when I started out, I realized that there was guys that came before me, and I was standing on their shoulders. Like, I ran into, do you know who Harsh Nair is?
No.
Harsh Nair played the assassin in the movie Gandhi, Richard Attenborough's Gandhi. He's in like the opening shot of the film. He's the guy that kills Gandhi. But, he was in New York and he was playing taxi drivers and convenience store workers. And so, I mean, I came onto the scene when like Ajay Naidu and I were always like meeting at auditions, and Rizwan we got out of school at the same time. We moved to New York at the same time, but there was we weren't the first in. There was guys that were doing it before us,
Your IMDb list is crazy.
I got to do some wild stuff back in the day when it was a little bit, I don't know, it was a little bit it was a little bit less structured, I think, than it is today. Like, I got my SAG card in a wild way. I sort of came onto the radar of these legendary casting directors. Legendary casting director, Francine Maisler, and she brought me in for a new Nora Ephron film that she was writing with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, and it was going to be another one of those romantic comedies, and it was called You've Got Mail because the internet had just been invented, email.
I love You Got Mail.
So I went into the room and I met Nora Ephron, and I read something and she said, "Oh, you're wonderful. You're not right for this part, but go sit in the waiting room. I'm going to find something for you to do in my movie." And then she brought me back in, she gave me another scene, and I read that, and she said, just hang out for a second. And then she just wrote something. She wrote something on the spot so that I could be in, be in her movie. And I ended up having one line in the cafe with Meg Ryan when she's waiting for her blind date, But I got my SAG card on that film. I mean, I was
That's amazing.
Oh, that's how you do it.
well,
It's a
I mean, I
legendary
don't know
story.
if you can do it like
Yeah,
that
I guess,
anymore,
yeah.
right? Like, it's kind of, because everybody's making self-tapes, and so there's not that
You know what's so
sort
funny?
of-
We had a show before this, and we were talking about Chelsea, who's on a big YouTube show, and she was talking about her collaboration. You want to talk about it for a sec for this episode?
I mean, it's kind of what going off of what you said, it's kind of serendipitous. Like the creator of the show, and we've been working together for 5 years now. It was our 5-year anniversary, like a few weeks ago. I met him in college. He was one of my mutual friends, Alan Chicken Chow. And fast forward after graduating, like a year later, he asked me, hey, do you want to film some videos together? And we've been filming together for like 5 years. So you just never know. And there's really like, I guess, that's showbiz for you, I guess.
So Jazz, you're so lucky that you're part of my podcast.
Yeah. I feel so
We're lucky
blessed.
to be next to Jazz. Say that louder than that.
No, but I don't want to. We only have 45 minutes. People
being a
know you
musician.
because you're such a great musician. How did you just move out into that side of the performance?
Well, so I always played music,
Yeah.
and I loved music, and I seemed to have a knack for it at an early age. I was in bands in high school and stuff like that. And when I was like 15. I grew up in the 70s, and my parents, immigrated in the 60s, and the collective wisdom at that time was to assimilate. It wasn't like it is today, which is like your kids should speak many languages and know about their culture, and But my parents were doing what they thought was best.
Where your
which was
parents
like, Calcutta. Nice. So we're Bengali, Calcutta Bengalis, yeah. So they came and they were like, all right, we're going to be as American as possible, right? We joined the country club, and I was skiing, and I was playing hockey. I grew up in upstate New York. So I didn't really have any connection to like my Indian heritage, but I think I was 10 or 11 and I heard Indian classical music, and I was like, oh my God, something resonated like deep inside of me. Like, whoa, this may be something like in my blood, So when I was like 15, like my mom like got a sitar out of a thrift shop, and I started banging around on it. I played a lot of other instruments, so it was kind of like easy to sort of transition. So she got me some lessons, but I took my sophomore year off of college and I moved to Calcutta, and I did a 9-month apprenticeship with this sitar disciple of Pandit Ravi Shankar. His name was Deepak Chaudhary, and he was teaching mainly at the time. He did some concerts, but the main thing that I learned at that end of 9 months was that I was never going to be a great Indian classical musician, right? So, but I come back and I finish my acting degree, and I start, right out of the gate, Yale, the Yale pedigree carried some weight, right? So when you got no credits, if the only thing on your resume says Yale Theater, then people are at least willing to meet you, right? So I ended up sort of funneled into the Williamstown Theater Festival right out of Yale, which was like a place where all these like famous movie stars who were living in New York would go up to do theater during the summer. So like my first year there, I was there with Gwyneth Paltrow, who was like 19 years old at the time, and she was doing a production of The Seagull with Christopher Walken, and I met Campbell Scott. I met all these people. I did this play with Olympia Dukakis, but with no credits on my resume as an actor, but outside of Yale and sitar apprenticeship, all these theater directors was like, sitar, you better bring that. They would cast me and say, you better bring that. And so they would find a way to sort of incorporate that music a little bit into the play.
It's like me. Wow. You better bring that.
Yeah, you better bring that. So, I carried on as an actor, but I always kept the sitar with me, and I toured a lot. And I accidentally fell into musical theater, and I ended up booking the Broadway production, the Broadway revival, the '94 revival of The King and I on Broadway. And I understudied The King. So I was Lou Diamond Phillips' understudy for my first year.
Wow.
And that ended up being 6 productions of King and I over the next 10 years. 3 as understudy, and then I graduated into the role. And I did a UK tour for like almost 2 years playing the King of Siam, and then I did 2 more tours in this country. And over the next 10 years, I met my first wife on one of the productions of King and I. And
Nice.
it was. I don't want to go on too long.
Can I just say how talented you are? Like I saw one of your reels where you're playing your sitar and you're singing like Big Papa.
Oh yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. And the fact that you went on for so long, it is a skill to have that precision and be in that flow state and then sing at the end. That takes so much skill.
You learned that in Calcutta, how to play Big Papa.
And it makes so much sense because you're so used to these long productions, where it's like you're on a marathon. And so I just want to say you are so talented, and I
thank you.
recognize
That's so
every
sweet.
ounce
Thank
of
you.
that. Yeah.
You play any musical instruments?
The piano.
What is it with Asians and the
Asians.
piano that we gotta play the piano? Do you play the piano too?
I do.
Oh my god, do you?
No, I took violin in school, and I did not excel.
See, violin's like the other instrument. If you don't play the piano, then you gotta play the violin.
Yeah, and that's like the hardest. I don't know. They always say like violins, like
I thought it was very chic, you know. Like I'm not gonna sit there with a trumpet, I wasn't gonna join band or something crazy at school. No offense to the band.
So did you actually pick out the sitar, or did your parents say learn how to play this?
No, I chose it.
It came to
I
you.
chose it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you were like, Mom, I want to learn how to play this instrument.
Yeah. No, I mean, they gave me piano lessons, and then after that, I taught myself the guitar, and I was playing bass in a band for a while, and then there was this sitar that was sort of like in the house.
You're like
as sort
Indian
of
Prince
like
with the purple.
Indian Prince.
Prince.
I'm gonna show dance now.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. If you like this episode, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.
I'm curious to how did you teach yourself how to play the sitar, or did you have like a guru?
Yeah, no, I had a guru in India.
in
this
Kolkata.
guy, Deepak Chaudhary,
right,
where I
right.
learned, and he just taught me like Indian classical tradition. Like, so I was studying in the Indian classical tradition.
I
And I
see.
played classically for like 10, 15 years and always very badly. You know what I mean? Like, I started too late. I didn't grow up. I mean, I wasn't listening. That wasn't the only thing I was listening to. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was
see.
listening to what was on the radio.
I
you know,
see.
so.
I see. And now you've integrated that into.
Yeah, I think I've managed to integrate like this instrument that I have facility on with like the music that I love, like all my favorite songs. So
Right.
essentially today I just play only my favorite songs.
And having gone through like, sorry, now I'm asking.
No,
a lot of
please.
questions. Having gone through like that method of learning an instrument from like a guru, and then having to like integrate your own style into it, how do you think you learn best? Or do you think the guru that you learned from, like his method of teaching was compatible with your method of learning? Or
Well, I mean, I think you grow up, right? So like I think when you're younger, you're waiting for instruction. You're waiting for people to kind of tell you what to do and how to do it. And then you kind of reach a point in your life where you're like, okay, the training wheels are off. I'm going to take it from here. And then you kind of give yourself permission to be original, right? You're talking about authenticity, right? Like, and it really felt way more authentic for me to play Biggie Smalls and Eminem on the sitar than it did to try and play like a classical raga. That felt more authentic to me. So, but you don't do that right out of the gate. It takes some years, right?
Do Indians hire you more or white people hire you as well to play their events? Like, oh, we're having some Indian guy come play the sitar. Like,
Yeah, like both. I want to say the majority is still Indians. Like my bread and butter still is the Indian weddings.
nice.
So, and I seem to be really popular at like fusion weddings for obvious reasons, right? Like so when there's like an Indian girl marrying an American guy or vice versa, then my music seems to be really in the pocket for what that
you
is.
are in
Gonna
that
book you.
fusion. Yeah, you are that fusion.
I used to get hired for Indian weddings. They were such death for me because, like, not only like I do stand up, so
Not as a dancer.
yeah, not as a dancer, not as a sitar player either, or play piano. But I was always thinking like I'm gonna ruin like their big day. Like,
It's a lot of pressure for sure.
No, it's a lot of pressure because they
Yeah.
could be funny. And if it's not funny, they were like, oh, remember that guy we hired in the wedding who like bombed for 30 minutes? So like, I'd always feel this incredible pressure. I mean, you ever feel like,
I don't. Not anymore.
Okay.
I mean, maybe back when I started
on.
15 years ago. Yeah, I feel that. You know what I mean. But now I kind of I know that it's going to be good.
Yeah, you've
It's
gone
gonna be
through
good,
all like the.
Yeah, if they hired me, and they can see, they know what they're getting, right?
Yeah.
Because they can see my stuff online, and
Yeah.
and if they vibe with it, then
Yeah.
they're gonna like it.
And you've
So,
put in the 10,000 hours.
yeah, for sure.
A wedding is it's like so much more like the sum than it is its parts. Like you never remember just the bad thing at a wedding, like if the rest of it's pretty good. So even if you do bomb, if the food's good, if the DJ who comes on after you is good, then
There you go,
you
Jazz.
know,
Comforting.
it's just a blip in the wedding.
what about me though? It's my memory. I think music's different than comedy though, because music you can always just play. Comedy, you have to listen for the laughs too.
That's true, right?
Right. Because most people aren't going to be like throwing tomatoes at you at a wedding, but they might not laugh when you're doing your.
Well, Jazz is getting married in August. You can hire him for the.
Oh, congratulations.
Oh, man, I want to hear more about it.
The
Where is it?
astrologers to
please?
say.
I was like, I couldn't even believe I disclosed that on a previous episode. I had this like Vedic astrologer tell me I'm getting married in August. He's moved it to next May now, so we got a little bit of time.
Oh.
I don't have.
So the
I'm
astrologers
single.
decided. You haven't decided.
No, I'm single.
Okay.
That's a fun fact.
But astrology always comes true. So
Oh, he's been right. But anyways, that's now the running joke, unfortunately. The disclosure.
Do you see this astrologist regularly, like every month, or and you can vet for him, huh?
Well, he's not here. He's in India, and
Okay.
it's an interesting. It's different kind of. He's not purely a Vedic astrologer, but it's.
Well, maybe I'll get his contact.
Maybe we'll be I can read your palm and tell you some stuff too.
Oh yeah, did you know
need,
ChatGPT
you need
does
like
that?
the exact time of your birth, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to India on Wednesday actually.
you are.
Yeah.
Where?
Where?
Well, I'm flying to Delhi. I'm going to be in Delhi for a few days, and then I'm going to Jaipur for a wedding, to play at a wedding.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
And then I'm going to do like a show at a club in Hyderabad. So it's sort of open-ended, but probably I'll be there for 3 weeks. But that's like one of the first things I'm going to do. I found an astrologer in Delhi, and I got like the exact times of birth of myself, my wife, and my 2 kids. And I was going to have everybody's.
Wow,
It'll be
And
nice.
did you already do that?
No, when I go.
Oh, I
want to
see.
go sit in front
person.
of the person.
I see.
So
and then
you-
get the gems because you need like certain gemstones, right?
Okay.
Because according to your star chart, you put these gemstones against your skin, and they bring you power.
That's what I got going on.
What? I want to hear more about this. And you already know about this astrologist.
I don't know anything about anything, man. I haven't been to India in like
But
15 years.
So you don't know who you're seeing once you.
No,
try to
I
show?
don't know. I don't know. But it's it's.
He's
Oh,
a
you're
white
gonna
guy.
find one. You're gonna find one while you're there.
He's a white guy named
Okay,
Gary.
cool.
I
Does
use
astrology in India.
Wait, so when
What's
you
that?
so when you got married, you did not do the chart matching or
I did not.
okay,
I did not.
that's a practice. Some people
We
like
cobbled
to.
that first marriage together for 11 years, so it's not too bad, even without the star charts.
Okay.
Yeah, but my second wife is from Thailand.
Oh,
My
okay.
first wife was Japanese. My second wife was from Thailand, and I went over and I met her parents before we got married, and she kind of ran. Her mom sort of ran my star chart and gave us the thumbs up.
wow.
So it's fine.
We're
I'm
going
glad
pretty
we're
good.
talking about this because I know this is going to be dated, but today's actually Valentine's Day when
Yes.
we recorded this episode. So it's good we're talking about love, even though it's going to air 2 weeks after Valentine's Day, but who cares? In fact,
Season of love.
I want to make a quick shout out to Dialogue for making these amazing drinks this incredible Saturday morning. Thanks so much. I am drinking the iced latte. If you're at Dialogue, check out that drink. Chelsea, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking a lavender matcha.
Nice. I have the Madagascar vanilla latte. It's very nice.
I forget what this is called. It's delicious.
Thanks so much, Dialogue. Guys, check out their locations. They have multiple locations throughout Los Angeles. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks, Dialogue.
Thank you, Dialogue.
It's really cool that, one, you're going to India, but two, I'm glad you found love again because I'm
Okay.
dystopian like that.
You
even
found it
though-
twice, yeah.
Yeah, I found it twice.
Yeah.
Are you dating anybody, Chelsea, right now?
Yes, I am
Yeah.
dating someone right now.
Is he Indian? Like, is it like the opposite?
Yeah, is he from Thailand? No, he's Chinese American. He grew up in Edina. It's in Minnesota. I'm from Malaysia, by the way. But I don't mind talking a little bit more about this star chart and astrology. If you guys know much about
What's
yours.
your sign?
I'm a Virgo.
Nice sign.
Yes.
You?
Taurus.
Oh, that's my rising.
And you're a Leo.
Yeah.
Extra Leo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you are?
I'm a Cancer.
That's my boyfriend's sign.
Cancer Virgo is very compatible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would like my next boyfriend to be a Virgo.
Oh yeah, I think Virgos as partners are great.
Put that out there in the list.
Put it out there.
Have you guys been like couples going to couples therapy or anything?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
I think
all
it's a
the time.
great tool to have.
Crucial.
And
Just,
not
like,
only when
regularly.
like
Are
you
you
have
in
a
couples
problem.
therapy right now?
Yeah, we've gone
How long
twice.
have you been dating?
Probably a year and a half. But I think it's
I need
great.
therapy, period.
Yeah, I think it's
I don't
great
need
when
the
like
couple.
you have a perpetual conflict and you've tried to resolve it as much as you can together, and then sometimes you need that extra 10% with like a professional to just kind of put things in like layman terms.
Objective.
Yeah, and like take all the emotions out of it, and them to remind us like, oh, there's a lot of love that you guys have for each other. Like we can definitely repair this. Just some optimism.
That's really smart, actually. I've heard my
Yeah.
friends before they got married, they actually went to a premarital counselor to work out stuff.
yeah.
And I think that's where my relationships fall apart because I'm always like, my way, the highway.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a great tool to have. Yeah, but yeah, I mean,
Is that good? That's not good, right?
No, like couples therapy.
Compromise. It's all
Yeah.
about compromise.
Really?
Everything in life is
Everything
about
is a
compromise.
compromise.
Yeah.
Well, and do you feel like being an artist? I'm glad you're here because do you feel like being an artist is hard to keep relationships together? Because all my friends, I got a lot of famous stand-up comedian friends, and they're all like, "Dude, I'm on like the brink of divorce because it's so hard to like tour." And I'm like, "Oh, you have all this money and you're famous, yet it's still hard to keep this relationship going because it's like a different dynamic now as a performer."
I think you need to prioritize, right? I got off the road many years ago because I wanted to raise a family, you know what I mean? And I knew that I couldn't raise a family, being a theater actor, because it doesn't pay enough, you know what I mean? Even on a Broadway show, you know what I mean? But then you're like, I'm gone, you know what I mean? I don't want to be gone for a year. So I got off the road. That was one thing. But, I'm in LA. I mean, I didn't get off the road in, Phoenix, Arizona. I got off the road in LA, and, there's plenty of work. There's plenty of ways to stay creative in Los Angeles. I mean, I go to the airport pretty much every weekend still for work, but I try to be back within 48 hours.
Nice.
I work on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday morning I'm taking my kids to school and taking them to soccer practice.
What a
and checking
dad.
their homework.
I
and,
like that.
Wow.
but
balance.
the thing is, I prioritize that because I did a lot of things in the artistic sort of, you know what I mean, in that thing, and I don't know. I mean, at the risk of sounding cheesy, like it's really rewarding. I mean, raising kids, right? Like my boys are 15 and 12.
I wouldn't know.
And to see
don't
what
know
they've
that joy.
turned into, I mean, like I look at some of the videos I've made, and like none of it is as good as when I look at these kids that I've been raising up. I mean, they're like,
Wow,
I mean,
you're
it's like-
inspiring me to like
It
start
feels
a
like
family.
a creative act.
Yeah, Chelsea's gonna go
Parenting
home
feels
get
like a
knocked
creative
up
act,
after
yeah.
this.
Oh yeah.
That's so cool.
When you're ready though,
Did-
because it's got to be, there's
you
a-
have to
When you're
be
ready to
creatively
prioritize it.
fulfilled first, and then having gone through everything that you want to do, and then did you already know from a young age that you've wanted kids, and you knew it was going to be as fulfilling as it is?
No, I
Or
didn't.
you-
I didn't
oh,
know.
Wow.
I got surprised. I surprised myself.
Okay.
Chelsea, do you want kids?
I am open to the universe. I feel like if I do have kids, I want to give them the world. And sometimes I feel like you can lose yourself. I know a lot of moms have talked about this. I've done a lot of research actually with like, motherhood and, and social media now, there's like so many reels about it. But I definitely do think that it's a big responsibility and also the greatest gift. To have that parent-child relationship, that unconditional love, I don't think you can really find that anywhere else. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I'm still doing research too. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm doing research.
To all of us, maybe we should see an astrologist. Like,
Jazz, do you want kids?
I'm super, super on the fence about it. Because I see a lot of my friends' marriages and their careers after kids, and it has not been a pretty picture. So, but
Shout out to Yelda.
marriage marriage is hard. It is like so much respect.
it's so much. It really depends on the partner you choose
Yes.
and like. How supportive they are and stuff. And just like the time in your life. I mean, you can't predict anything. You can say you want kids and then you may not be able to have them. Or, you want kids and then it ends up, maybe you're not happy about it. Because I've seen those Reddits too.
Yes.
So I whatever happens, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you're making every major life decision with that partner for like maybe 70, 80 years to come.
Big project.
It's a big decision. And do you even know that person enough? Like, do you know?
You can't think of it. It's too scary to think
Yeah,
of it like
it
that.
is.
You gotta think of
It
as like-
is a major
You gotta wake up every morning and choose that person you're with.
Yes,
And you gotta
I
say to
agree.
yourself, just because you're married to that person doesn't mean you're imprisoned with that person.
Committed
right?
to
Like,
commitment.
you gotta wake up and every morning and choose. Like for myself, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is feels good now. Let's keep doing this, and as long as it stays good, as long as we're both growing sort of together, and like, then let's stay together. But if not, I mean, I'm pretty good. I have a pretty good relationship with my first wife. You know, the mother of my children. You know, we didn't end up hating each other. We spent a decade together. We made these beautiful children, and you know what I mean. We will always be family. You know what I mean. Just because we're not like married, we're not tied together in that way anymore. You know what I mean. So, like, I don't think of it as like, oh, this is like a sentence of 70 years, right? Because that's too much. Anything for 70 years is too much.
Especially when you're like
I can do
thinking
like
ahead.
2 weeks, right?
Also, it's optimistic to think you'll live another 70 years.
Yes, very optimistic.
Life is short.
I could have gotten married in my late 20s and early 30s. And I always think I probably would have been divorced by now because
Same.
all of the things that I went through, I just feel like I was just not strong enough to go through that career-wise and keep a relationship. I don't know how I would have functioned. So sometimes I think maybe it's a blessing that I'm still single because I would have put my family through hell. I would have been like one of those. I don't know. That's what I think.
Like those deadbeat dads.
I would definitely not be doing comedy at all or even in the arts. I would have bailed out of this. Like, screw this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of responsibility.
You never know.
You never know.
When my first wife was pregnant with my second kid, we had to go down to CarMax and buy a minivan. So we went down to CarMax and we got this used minivan. And I came back and I called my friend who was like kind of my spiritual advisor. He's a bit older than me, and he's a very successful movie actor. And I said to him, I said, Mike, I think I should stop acting. I think I can sell cars at CarMax. Because I'm going to be a dad of 2 now, and I should be responsible. And he said, Ronobir, is the lesson you're trying to teach these children is that when things get scary, to give up on your goals and your dreams and become a used car salesman? Because if that's the lesson you're trying to teach them, because all they do is model, right? They just it doesn't matter what I say to them; they just behave like me. Right?
I'm gonna get your number after this. I'm gonna call you in the future for any life
Don't call me.
advice.
Send me a text, please.
No. I'm on D&D all the time too.
I don't want to talk too long about this, but like did all this stuff, 12, 13 years, successful. Let me get a job behind the scenes so I can produce and stuff. So I got a job at like UTA, some huge agency. Started working behind the scenes as a manager. And I was like, let me start my own company and stuff. And it really went down fast. And I was like running out of money. And I got a job at CarMax. I was selling used cars.
Wow. I like where this story's going.
And I was so low. And this is like my late 30s, by the way. And this is after I had all these super great jobs, after I booked all these pilots in my 20s. Like I was a working actor. And I was so low. And I was like, I'd go into like the car, like a van, like the blacked out like SUV, and just be like, how the hell did I get here? How did I like tank my career so bad where I'm selling cars? I was killing as a car sales salesman. I was selling 30 cars. I was actually making great money. And then Lexus were like, we'll hire you. And then I was like, dude, this is where you're going to just fix your career. Things started picking up again. But I went through such a period. And when you were like, you talked to your friend, I probably should have talked to that same friend, but I was so low, I had to do it because nobody's coming to help you in this town. Like none of my friends would return my calls. All my famous friends were like, no, you can't open for me. So you're just like alone. Sorry, I'm just using this for therapy at this point.
No,
but I could relate to that story.
Yeah. I mean, and you have to go through that journey sometimes, to like learn all the lessons. That's really, that's like, what do you call the protagonist's journey or the arc? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so the CarMax. Shout out to CarMax. A lot of shout outs today.
Sooner or later, we all end up at CarMax.
Yeah.
Have you ever had any low points? By the way, that's a great great talking point. Any low points?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. I think one of my lowest point was in the middle of getting my bachelor's in fine arts and acting degree at USC. I think when you're, away from your family and you're kind of going into adulthood, and that was also the time where I allowed myself to like fall in love and get my heart broken and learn all these lessons. And I think I got really into poetry, and I started realizing the dynamics within my immediate family. So I definitely went through a period where I felt like, oh my gosh, like what am I here for? Like, do I have anything to offer the world? And if I wasn't here, would everything keep on going? Like, it was kind of very existential. But I'm very grateful for that because now I just feel so much stronger. And like the lessons I've learned from that, I just like carry on with me till this day.
Heartbreak will teach you a lot.
If anyone out there is going through a hard time, it gets better. Just go through it. You know, they always say like if you're like a herd of an ox, you know, like and you see or you're a bull and you see a storm, don't run away, but run through it.
Right.
Yeah.
Jazz, how have you rebounded from a heartbreak?
Have I ever had a heartbreak?
Oh my God.
Oh man, let's go.
Always
really.
dump the guy.
Yeah, and I mean, but I mean, you can learn from other kinds of low points too. I mean, heartbreak can be it for some people. It could be a turning point. It could be a professional failure. In my case, I think taught me more than anything, any other experience ever will, which was the crash of my first startup, and I became depressed for the first time in my life. Short-lived, but you know, it was like weird. Like I'm a very cheerful person and I'm optimistic, and then you're like, oh, nothing matters, doesn't matter, you know, and like struggling to get up, and then taught me, you know, high degree of empathy and pulling myself back up, and the only way out is through, and reinventing myself a little bit, and yeah.
So necessary, girl. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Cheers to the only way out is through. To all of us.
I don't want to sidetrack from what you were saying because I'm learning a lot from you. So,
Do you want this to be a one-on-one?
no, honestly, I am because I feel like an OG sometimes. For a while, I was like the young guy for like Indians, and now I feel like I just did a road trip with Sachin Kumar. You know?
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we went. So
We love Sachin.
yeah, so he was a guest on the show, and I was talking to him, and I was like, dude, you got like, I have so many years on you, you know. So it's nice for me to like talk to people who have experience in the business. Not saying Sachin has no experience, but I know you've seen stuff and you've gone through a lot of travail to be where you are now. So like, what lessons for like aspiring artists who want to be in this career and have a long career as you've had and be successful? Like, what can you tell, you know, not just Indians, but anybody who wants to be in the arts?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I don't know if any answer I could give would actually help anything, because I think sometimes you just have to experience it, right? Like I try and shield my kids from certain pitfalls that I went through in life, but I realize they just have to experience. It's part of, that's the only way they're going to learn. But I would say like my main, when things really changed for me was like right in my mid-30s, which is nearly 20 years ago. I made kind of some major lifestyle changes, and it didn't happen. The lifestyle changes kind of happened overnight, but it altered my perspective, my objectives, and my motivations on why I was trying to be in the arts to begin with. Like when I started, and I decided I wanted to be an actor at like age 12 years old. I wanted to do that because I felt like I needed to get something. I needed to fix something. I needed to fix something deep inside of me. And whether it was I needed more attention, I needed more validation, I needed love from everybody in the world. So I spent the first half of my career, 15 years, trying to get these things. And whenever I would get some of it, it was never enough. Like I would keep throwing these things in. I got King and I came out on my first premiere of King and I at the Edinburgh Playhouse. 3,000 people in the audience, and I came out for my curtain call, I threw my arms up, and I got the standing ovation. And I walked back into my dressing room, and it all went away, and it still wasn't enough. And then something happened in my mid-30s, and I realized it wasn't about what I could get. I didn't need these outside things, this adulation, this admiration, this validation to fix something, because in fact, I wasn't actually broken. And then it became an act of generosity. And so when I really transitioned out of acting and started playing the sitar, every time I approach a new piece of music on the sitar, it's about like, I think about who would love this? What can I give? I always picture one person. A lot of times it's my wife, but a lot of times it's other artists that I admire, or sometimes nowadays it's the person who wrote the song. Like I did this Wu-Tang thing, and like Wu-Tang reached out. Right? Wow. And I'm like, man, now when I play like a new hip hop song, I'm like, what are the Wu-Tang guys gonna think of this? This is gonna make them smile, right? So now I approach it not about what I can get, but what I can give. And I don't worry about the money, I don't worry about the contract. I just think like, what is like the coolest thing that I can make that nobody's ever thought of before and give to the world? And then the universe takes care of me.
So great what you just said. I'm gonna clip that for sure.
Think about that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gotta come from a place of generosity. You know?
Yeah.
I think
I believe in that
creativity
too.
is a generous act.
Yes.
It's ultimately a generous act.
Yeah.
I think that same life lesson can be, applied to relationships. In anyone's case, is like a lot of people get into relationships like, what's in it for me? What can I get from this person? Are they giving me attention and whatever? And that is often a recipe for disaster. And so it is like, I have a lot of love to give, or I want to support this person or whatever, and it becomes more uplifting, I would hope.
Yeah. And you're focused more.
Why are you laughing?
No, it's true.
I like it. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're focused more on like what you can do and like how do I show up as, a life partner to this person and what can I offer that person? And that also just feels so much more, doable. Yeah.
At the same time, I mean, if somebody had told my 22-year-old self what I just said, I wouldn't have heard it. I would have
Doesn't
heard
resonate.
blah, 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 blah. When is it my turn to talk, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how you learn that lesson.
I still get pissed off. Like, like 2 nights ago, I was thinking all these comics who I knew who were like super famous. And I'm so like, I try to say it, but I try to say I'm not envious, but I am, because I feel like they got breaks that I never got. I feel like, oh man, life's not fair. Or like my mom died early. I'm like, why did that happen? Like how come life played out the way it did? And then I get angry. I'm like, why am I angry about this? And then I try to meditate twice a day. And I'm always thinking, all right, I don't have to make it. And these are the cards I have. And I'm super blessed. I'm super blessed with what I have.
Yeah.
And I have to figure out how to be grateful for whatever, this is.
If you're not grateful for the things you already have, you're not going to be given any more because you already don't appreciate it. I think that's, everyone's dealt some sort of unfairness, whether they're, born into poverty or born really unattractive or something. Like, you just have to deal with it. You have to make the best of it because it could be worse.
Oh my God, going to India, especially when you drive through India, you're like, I am so lucky. You see the poverty in India.
Even here, even driving through, downtown LA, you're like, oh, that's
Gratitude is
perspective.
key. Gratitude is key, for sure.
Yeah.
Somebody reached out to me and they said, put you on the podcast. That's how I really,
That's nice.
a fan of yours reached out, can you get him on the podcast? And I always ignored those messages. But then I looked it up and I was like, oh, this guy's super talented. And then, I reached out to you. So your music does have an impact on people.
Yeah, I'm really grateful. I feel really lucky that it is like, resonating with people, and people are like, wow, I mean, when I first started, I think one of my first covers ever 15 years ago was, when I first thought maybe I don't have to play Indian classical music on the sitar, maybe I can play a pop song. Let me try playing a pop song. And I did a cover of Beyonce's Halo. And it was like the early days of YouTube. And I threw it up on YouTube, not knowing what I was doing. And literally 50 Indian American brides reached out, they got my number, and they were like, you have to play this at my wedding because this represents exactly who I am.
Right.
Like the American story, but the Indian outside, right? The Indian face, and then the American story. And I didn't realize, I guess I was trying to be authentic to myself, but I guess that there's a lot of people like me, right? There's a lot of people whose parents immigrated, they were born here. There's a little, there's a slight bit of identity crisis, but trust me, it's much easier to navigate that now than it was, 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I did this movie called American Desi. It's actually the 25th
Remember that
anniversary.
movie.
Yeah.
It's the 25th anniversary. The director just
Wow.
called me last night because he wants to do
Who's the director for that?
this guy named Piyush Pandya.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. But, Rizwan was in that
Yeah.
movie, and
A lot of
Kalpan
people were
was
on
in
the
that
movie,
movie.
yeah.
Very cool movie.
And we were kids, we were 22 years old, and, we were shooting on this, college campus in New Jersey, and nobody had ever done anything. So we coupled it together, but, the lesson from that is wow, there's a lot of people who identify with what that feels like to kind of have a foot one foot in each world,
Yeah.
like not really know enough, you know what I mean? Having to be more like the code switching thing where like you have to be more Indian or less Indian, depending on who you're talking to and where you are in the world, right? So, you know, yeah, I mean, that's kind of thing I think that runs, it's a theme that runs through every like American Desi's life, right? It's like,
Yeah. Can you talk about the famous people you've collaborated with? Katy Perry and stuff too, right?
I did, yeah. I mean, I never met Katy Perry, but I worked for her producer at the time. And then I did a thing with Lil Nas X and his producers.
Wow.
And then I did a thing with like Jaden Smith, and you know, I did a thing many years ago, 15 years ago. I was on Ziggy Marley's album, and
no
I
way.
went in the studio. We recorded in Beverly Hills, and man, what a session that was! Because I always loved Jamaica, and I grew up on like Bob Marley and like all that reggae music. But during that session, he brought his guitar player up from Jamaica with him, and he was in the session with me, and he was kind of like giving me some pointers on like reggae phrasing, like, and he kept saying like, you're playing too many notes, man. You just need to back, you know, reggae music's like all sort of back-footed, right? So we stayed in touch, and as a result, like I've been down to Jamaica like 10 times. Wow. Like this same musician, like he played my second wedding. We got married on the beach in Jamaica. Like now I have like a long like connection to like Jamaica and some of these artists. And this guitar player, he played with all the Marleys and stuff. So they're like legitimate, you know, roots reggae musicians, you know. So
That's terrific.
That was kind of an amazing sort of experience that I got as a byproduct of, you know, being
yourself. I think
being
that's
a
the lesson.
fusion musician, right?
Yeah.
Like being the guy willing to take a sitar and play it on a reggae album, right? And like, you know, cultural ambassador, I guess.
I was gonna say earlier, when you were saying like there was, you know, the idea of playing Halo and how all these Indian brides reached out to you, it's like I felt almost like the reverse when I heard Britney Spears do like a Punjabi mix on one of her albums, and I was like, what? And I was quite young when that came out, and I just remember being like, Britney Spears, Bhangra? Like I just
Toxic,
didn't.
right?
Well, you wouldn't
No,
averse a reaction to it?
No, I had an amazing.
Oh.
I was a Britney Spears like mega fan, continue to be, and I just like where did she get this like Rishi Rich? I think he did like a mix of that song that she did with Madonna. It was like it was just a big deal that like she Punjabi-fied it. It was like why, but she just But Toxic, the sample.
Yeah, right. The sample.
From that's cool too, but you know I didn't know that back then. I actually was going to ask you, you know, you mentioned throwing it up on YouTube and having been in the industry digital, pre-social media, and then like how does that affect how you approach putting your content online? Do you bother putting it up on Instagram and TikTok regularly, or is that not a priority?
Oh no, I do, and that changed the game for me. I mean, I was a bit late to the party, right? I mean, I was early to the party, but I was late to the party. So like I was early in that, like when I first started doing like the sitar thing more like seriously, like 15 years ago, I was playing at the Hollywood Farmers Market just around the corner on a Sunday morning. Like some guy like loved my stuff and a bread seller, and so I'm playing there one morning, and I just left this long running Disney show, and I had like a kid on the way, and I was like, why did I leave this? I left money on the table with Disney. I was doing the Aladdin show at the park when I first came to LA. And I said to myself, I'm not going to do any more musical theater. You know, I just come off King and I, which was at the Pantages, and then I go to this audition, and they're like, we want you to play all the parts. It was Aladdin, right? So and in Southern California, so they had all these like Latino people like playing all the residents of Agrabah. So they saw me and they were like, "Oh, dude, you can sing, you can dance, you can act, like you're gonna play all the roles." And I was like, "All right." And I ended up doing that for like 4 years, and you know,
It was a lot.
that's too much. It's too much to do for anything's too much. I had a theater director. She said, "How long have you been doing that show for?" I said, 3 years. She said, it's time to do something else. And I said, yeah, it is. Yeah. So I left that show and I started playing my sitar, and I didn't know where to play it. So I'm playing on the street, right? I'm playing farmers markets. But I'm playing on the farmers market one morning, and this guy, and the new iPhone had just come out with this feature where you could take a video and upload it directly to YouTube. So he walks by, he takes 45 seconds of video of me, uploads it directly to the YouTube. The next day, I get a call from a music contractor in New York. He says, I'm putting together a Cirque. It's essentially Cirque meets Bollywood. And it's going to be a 3-year European tour. And how soon can you get to Las Vegas for pre-production? He said, I think I need you to be the music director on this show, because I think you're the only person in the world who could do this job. Because he saw me playing like fusion sitar and like personality and all this stuff. So off I was, to Vegas and we did this India circus for, I moved to Frankfurt, Germany, but yeah, that's kind of how
Yeah,
things started.
incredible.
So that was like early. And then, Instagram, I didn't get on right away, but I'm on now, man.
Yeah.
I'm on now. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm pumping that Instagram now.
Yeah.
I mean,
You and Chelsea killing it. Instagram. Well, hey, I want to thank you for coming by. How about we do a quick plug for our social media? Chelsea, where can we find you on social media?
Chelsea Sick everywhere.
You guys can find me at Hot Chai Pod on Instagram and YouTube primarily.
okay, and I'm at Ronobir Law on like Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, and I don't know what else I'm on, but yeah.
Thanks for coming by. Pleasure talking to you. And I think all your success is so well deserved. I know like you've been in the game a long time and you seem like a really genuine dude. Even when I talked to you on the phone, I was like, this guy's almost too nice. I was like, he's got to have some skeletons, but I don't think you do. I think you're just who you
Trying
are.
to find him.
That's for episode 2.
No, yeah. Yeah, thanks for coming by. And thank you guys for sitting in.
Thank you for
Appreciate
having
it.
us.
And thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you. Don't forget to follow us at the Convo Sutra. You can follow me at Tarun Shetty, and we'll see you next episode. Take care. Great, dude. Thank you.
Wow.